Hey Cancer Collective, happy Monday. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Let's look at the energy for the Cancer Collective. September the 28th, yesterday. I'm a day behind through, y'all, what is it? The 5th, October the 5th. Let's just go through the 5th. I don't know if that's right, but I think it is. Yeah. Okay, let's see. What do you need to hear about your love life? We're going to look at love and money and whatever else you might need to hear that could come out. When it comes to your love life this week, so I have a message before I even flip this card over. We'll see if it's related. So the message I have, Cancer, is that for some of you, those of you who are maybe not in the best space with someone, or you could be single, maybe you recently broke up, maybe not recently, but you've broken up with someone and maybe you haven't been in another relationship since then. It's kind of given like you've removed yourself from a situation and you're asking yourself like, you know how sometimes when you're with somebody, they want to live the single life, and then when you break up with them, all of a sudden they want to be committed to you, and you're like, why you don't go and chase behind all the people you were chasing behind when I was with you? Like you took your hands out of it, like, okay, go have your fun, and then the person don't want to go have their fun no more. I don't know if that means anything to you, but that's the message I got. So let's see what you got here. You got the Queen of Cups. This is you. Queen of Cups is Cancer energy, Cancer Neptune, and Cancer Jupiter in particular. I want you to notice like the water in the card is way over here and she's way over there, almost like she's observing emotions. That could be what I just said, where you're out of your emotions, your feelings for someone, practicing self-love. You may be a bit disconnected from your emotions here because the water is so far away from you. She's on the sand. And there's a message in that. Now, the Queen of Cups does represent guarded vulnerability. It is definitely a very empathetic, sensitive person. Yeah, King of Swords, but you might definitely be more head over heart now. Some of you could be dealing with an Ice King. And then a High Priestess, you could be keeping your distance from someone. Or maybe this is a person that had a secret relationship. Maybe with you or maybe with another person. Cancer and Pisces is here. Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. Namely, Aquarius, Mercury. Maybe somebody was a bit cold. You couldn't read them. So you're keeping your silence right now. That could be what it is. Being very head over heart. Let's see what the Queen of Cups is for Cancer. This could also be that you feel good, though. I feel like there's a message here with her being on the sand and the water being over there. And you know you are a water sign. When the Queen or King of Cups or any of the cup cards that represent people are not touching the water, there's a message in that. So what's going on here for Cancer? Yeah, the Queen of Swords. There you go. And then the Knight of Swords. And the Lovers. See, that's what I'm saying. This is a person that's running back after making a choice maybe to be with someone else. The Knight of Swords is sudden arrival and departure. It's somebody that's in and out of your life. It's hot and cold. It's inconsistent. They're flighty. They're unpredictable. They're impulsive. So maybe this person made a choice here, but they can't get their heart off of you. Scorpio moon energy, Gemini Mars. I'm sorry, Gemini Saturn. Why did I say Gemini Mars? Gemini Saturn. But the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups is definitely emotional intelligence, a spirit of discernment, where maybe you were like, this is all water. The Queen of Cups is water on top of water. So there's a lot of feelings. But like I said, look at the feelings way back here. And then the Queen of Swords is water and air. So that's a balance of logic and emotions. So you definitely feel, I don't feel like this is a bad thing or a sad thing. It just kind of feels like you're really in control. Using your spirit of discernment for sure. She's a psychic and this is a spirit of discernment, emotional intelligence, regulating your emotions. You feel very in charge this week. But let's see what this is about. You could be springing something on somebody that they don't really know how to, I don't know. Remember, the King of Swords came out. Now you got the Queen of Swords. So you could be matching energies with someone. Sometimes Queen and King of Swords gives me, could be a divorced couple. Like I said, maybe a breakup. Or just two very headstrong people with their very stoic, serious mindsets. Where neither person is willing to, let me look at this image back here. Neither person is willing to budge on how they feel. It can be a meeting of the minds. It can be an intellectually stimulating connection as well. But with the coming out with the Queen of Cups and the message I got before I pulled your cards, I definitely feel like you're like, Sometimes Queen of Swords is giving somebody the cold shoulder. It's sometimes being a woman scorned, you know, being a bit detached emotionally because of something that happened. Queen of Swords is a woman who's a divorcee and she's been through a lot. So let's see. But like I said, this Knight of Swords with the Lovers card is pointing to exactly what I said. That they run away to go be with someone else, and then they're coming right back. Sudden arrival, sudden departure. Don't know what they want. Impulsive. The type of person that's motivated by you pulling away. Queen of Swords again. Yeah. And that's Libra energy. But it could be Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini. And the Hierophant. Some of you, this is a marriage. Somebody could be talking divorce. Yeah, should I stay? Should I go? The Two of Wands and then the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords can be cutting somebody off. Queen of Swords is off with your head. So this is the institution of marriage. But the Queen of Swords is a divorcee. So I don't know if y'all are like thinking about leaving somebody. That could be what it is. Like leaving your comfort zone. It says preparing to leave your comfort zone. Future planning in the dark. But this is where you see things clearly. So if you are in between, it feels like you are making a very logical decision. Even the Hierophant is logical. The Hierophant is not about emotions. This is a person that really marries for practical reasons, spiritual reasons, just being cut from the same cloth, of the same ilk, the same mindset, so forth, so on. But this Queen of Swords gives me, there could be a conversation happening this week. This Ace of Swords could be a grown-up conversation about leaving something behind. Now, I don't know if you're giving somebody an ultimatum. It could be that. Maybe there's something else that they need to leave behind that they're stuck in. If they want you to give them attention, if they want you to give them your loyalty, and the Moon is here. Cancer, Pisces energy. You got Leo, Jupiter. Some of you are dealing with somebody in the spotlight. Maybe somebody that just likes too much attention. Somebody with a lot of pride. But they could be famous. Let's do this. I'm going to do the same thing I did for Taurus. I'm going to put all the cards back and we're going to look at your money. Well, let's see what the outcome is of this. I do see a conversation. There's a strong indication of a conversation, but it feels a bit emotionally detached on your end. Queen of Wands is here. We got 3 Queens. Almost the Empress. 2 of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. You could be choosing money over love right now. You know your practical matters, your earthly matters, your stability, things of that nature. Maybe some of you are going through some financial challenges and you're like, I need to focus more on my money right now. So you could be calling it quits with someone just because you need to focus more on your own stability. 2 more cards. What is the outcome of this? The 2 of Swords. Yeah, that's like being torn between 2 decisions. And then the 5 of Wands. That's a fight. That's an argument. The 8 of Swords, the Hermit card. Yeah, some of you haven't spoken to someone because they don't even know how to come back. Could be a Virgo. You got Gemini here. Gemini, Jupiter. Yeah, the 4 of Swords. Could have been something happened 5 days ago, 4 weeks ago. High Priestess. It feels like somebody's keeping a real low profile because they either don't know what to say or they don't feel compelled to come forward because they feel like you're going to chop their head off. You're going to bite their head off. Queen of Swords is definitely somebody that will be confrontational if she feels like she needs to get something off her chest. She's assertive. It's also analytical. So I don't know if some of y'all are in a situation where there's a choice between 2 women because the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups could be that, or you could be 2 women in a relationship. Okay. If it's not that, there could be 2 women here that are involved, or 2 people. It doesn't have to be women, but it feels like somebody could be torn between 2 situations. 2 of Swords with the 5 of Wands. That could be like a mental conflict. Somebody feels like they can't choose. Like I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't kind of energy. Yeah, this talks about being 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out the door. And you do have here like planning possibly to cut someone off or to have a real grown-up conversation about a conflict that you have, about a situation that doesn't make you feel very happy. Okay. All right, let's move on. Looks like you could be putting your foot down this week. The Queen of Swords is definitely going to call it like she sees it. She's going to tell it like it is. All that good stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised with the Knight of Swords and the Lovers if somebody is running right back into your life if they have been wishy-washy. Because their feelings are still there. And then you got the Wheel of Fortune, which talks about things like a rinse and repeat cycle. Could be a strong Gemini. You got Gemini here, the 10 of Swords, which could be a betrayal. And maybe they're facing judgment. This could be karma that this person is facing for whatever they did to you, Scorpio energy. All right. Let's get these cards put back and let's move on to your money for the week, what you need to know. You could be getting answers, or maybe somebody's coming to you for some answers if you've left them in the dark. The Moon card talks about vagueness, uncertainty, fears, illusions, subconscious beliefs. So it could be any number of things going on, secrets, especially with the High Priestess coming out. So if you had an argument, a disagreement, looks like communication. Could be pretty confrontational though, with the Knight of Swords and Queen of Swords. If you're an older feminine dealing with a younger masculine, yeah, I feel like you got the upper hand. Okay, what's going on with your money this week? The Nine of Swords sideways. Gemini, Mars energy. That could be a good thing. Let's see. The Devil card, it came out in reverse, Capricorn energy. With the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Wands. And the Ace of Swords. So I feel like there could be somebody here that feels guilty. I don't know why you would feel guilty though, because I feel like this is actually a good thing. Like this Ace of Swords is a breakthrough. I feel like clarity of mind and maybe some good news. All right. If you're in a toxic work environment, because that's what I feel like this is, I feel like you're detaching from that with the Devil in reverse, Capricorn energy. Like you could have an opportunity coming in. Sometimes the Seven of Cups talks about a lot of different options, you know, not putting all your eggs in one basket. I think we talked about this last week. Seven of Wands could be though that you might feel like, how do I explain this? So let's say for instance, you work a job, you hate it. You used to love it, but you hate it. Or you have a certain position. And you're like, I don't dislike my position, but I don't like the politics. I don't like the things that come along with this job or this position. And it's making me defensive. But at the same time, I'm not going to leave. I have options, but I'm not going to leave because I'm not going to allow people to push me out of my job. This Devil could definitely be detaching, a need to detach, but maybe there's a little bit of anxiety or reservations about doing so. Because the Nine of Swords talks about us feeling on edge and worrying ourselves to death and just imagining worst case scenario, like, or what if I leave and all of these things go wrong? I feel like, I mean, you could just be waiting for clarity of mind. Yeah, there could be like a poverty consciousness, a victim mindset. Like, again, if I leave, what if I go from bad to worse? That's kind of what I feel like is playing out here for you. And I feel like you're not going from bad to worse. And some of you may need to take into account here. Ten of Wands is showing up. And the Ten of Wands talks about like a dead-end job or feeling aimless. Yeah, it could be burdens. It could be a lot of responsibilities on you. It could be like I'm not being paid my worth here with the Five of Pentacles. That talks about financial hardship. And so if you do feel that way, if you've been working a job 5 years, 7 years, something like that could be significant. It feels like you're getting to a point where you're like, do I want to keep investing in this? Because if I keep investing in it, you got a lot of sevens here. You got 3 sevens. What does that mean? Well, sevens are cards that represent inactivity. I'm sorry, that's a number that represents inactivity. It's a card of reflection, a number of reflection. And you got 3 sevens here. So the Chariot is the number 7 in the major arcana. And then the Tower is a number 7 in the major arcana. Because it's related, y'all. So when you get a lot of sevens, it's giving me that on the bigger side of things, you got the Tower and you got the Chariot, which could mean that it's time to move on. And there's a situation, a paradigm. It feels like things are falling apart, but they're actually falling into place. But it does require some determination, some willpower, some fight, you know. And that could be what this is. But the Ten of Wands also talks about like a stressful work environment that could be taking its toll on your health and reaching a burnout, you know, stress-related illnesses that could come up, messing with your immune system, you know, or something that feels like a threat to you. Maybe it's just a financial threat. But I do feel like there's something that actually is good here this week, but you might be in a headspace where you're like, I got options, but I refuse to allow people to push me out of this position. I work too hard for it. Seven of Wands is standing up for what you believe in, having the courage of your convictions, fighting your corner. And it also talks about like getting victory and success and wanting to protect it. And you see how this person is here. All of these hands are people coming after her position, her job, her whatever, her happiness, her peace of mind. And so she's standing like, no, you're not going to take it from me. I would just say, be logical. You know what I mean? If you need to pray about something, pray about it so you can get the answers. But the devil in reverse means detaching, seeing something clearly and detaching from something that's toxic. But you may have a bit of reservations this week. Okay, let's see what comes out in the other deck. And then I'm going to let y'all go. So you could be getting good news, maybe even from multiple people, multiple sources. But you could also be feeling like you don't want to allow somebody to push you out of a environment that you feel like maybe you were there before them. You know what I mean? Even if you are not. Just like, you know, how dare you think you're going to take my job away from me? Maybe I love my job, you know, even though somebody could be making it hell. The Ace of Cups. Maybe you don't love your job anymore. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy. Yeah, it says no love, y'all. Being let down. Feeling disappointed. And the Five of Wands. This is conflict, y'all. Some of y'all are in a hostile environment. Maybe something happened over the last month or 5 days. And then you got the King of Cups, which tells you that all is well. And this is also a spirit guide, guardian angel, and then the Empress. Whoa. Some of you have a supervisor that's very compassionate or somebody that's mediating a situation. I told y'all this last week. But I do see you really standing your ground here. And some of you do have a promotion or something coming your way. It may not necessarily be this week. And if it is this week, it could be something online, somebody that wants to partner with you. You got the Fool here. That tells you to start brand new, wipe the slate clean, and be fearless. But look, anxiety is here again. Because it could be a feeling of like uncertainty here. Or feeling like, you know, I don't know if y'all are feeling depressed or stressed or whatever. Some of y'all look really nice. You're really attractive, very vibrant person. And maybe when you walk in the office, you got just a bunch of haters. Some of y'all got some backstabbing. But the Strength card means you are definitely standing your ground. You could be on a Cancer, Leo cusp. I feel like you have a supervisor. You got somebody advocating for you. And if this is not a physical person, this could be spiritual. But the King of Cups talks about being in a headspace where you are in control of your emotions. You're regulating your emotions. You're being very diplomatic in an environment. This talks about killing people with kindness. Yeah. So I don't feel like you're doing anything wrong. Queen of Pentacles, King of Pentacles here. Interesting. Some of y'all have a dynamic coming in professionally that's connected to your romantic life. I've been telling y'all this. This is power couple energy. And these two people are married here. And this is a married couple as well. So maybe this is you getting an opportunity. You could be finding love in the workplace. You could be meeting another boss if you're a boss. These are like two entrepreneurs here. They are the people in the Ten of Pentacles, and that represents like two very financially stable, generous people. This is equally yoked energy, a soulmate. But this is a partnership that feels mutually beneficial, and you could be closing a big deal here, okay? I feel like it's something new, though, because this talks about you spreading your wings and just flying into the unknown and trusting that you're going to land on your feet or you're going to fly even higher. Both of these cards are self-actualizing. So something is maybe pushing you out of a comfort zone, but it's a blessing in disguise. So if people are like bothering you in the workplace or something like that, though I do feel like you have a very decent supervisor. I really do. Now, if you don't, that could be somebody new coming into your life. But the Empress was facing the past, and she represents a compassionate supervisor. She represents somebody who loves unconditionally. She represents someone who's going to be fair. She's going to create an environment where everybody can thrive. Ain't going to be no mess. So, and that's what I see for you, Cancer. And if that's not what you're experiencing, is what you're about to experience, okay? But I definitely feel like you're a little sassy. I like it. I'm a little sassy too. That's right. Don't let nobody push you around. But at the same time, sometimes people are pushing you not because they meant to push you around. They meant to push you higher. You know, sometimes you got to use your enemies as your footstool. All right. All right, y'all. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you all the next time. Peace.